Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, Functional Medicine Center, is going to talk to you today about the immune system and basically Immune System 101 and what does the immune system do, how it gets revved up, what it's working on, and which parts of the immune system are doing different things. So welcome, hope you're having a great day, hope your week's off to a great start, and let's get into it. Immune system and where these cells are, what they're doing, and how it's going to affect your ability to be as healthy as possible. So when we start thinking about the immune system, there's some main cells that we start talking about. One is antibodies, and antibodies are a very important part of the immune system. We look at this all the time, especially with COVID now, and people are like, oh, do you have antibodies? Do you not have antibodies? But antibodies are very, very important for many types of immune system cells. All right, hey Nancy, good to see you. Go ahead and pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see people all over the country, all over the world. And also, go ahead and like or follow this page if you haven't already. So antibodies are going to be one of those foundational pieces to the immune system. Antibodies are basically going to be tagging and targeting different things for destruction. So let's say, anybody know any viruses out there that they've heard about in the last year? Let's say there's a virus that comes into the body, and that virus is going to be trying to get into cells so that it can replicate and create this viral load all over the body. Hey, Lori, good to see you. So the viruses are going to be the bad guys. It could be bacteria, it could be pathogens, any parasites, whatever it is. But the antibodies are going to tag that for destruction. So basically an antibody is like the Navy SEAL sitting up on the ridge and shooting down its laser pointer onto the little house, and then the drone comes in, shoots that missile, and blows up the house. So the antibodies are tagging whatever it is for destruction. So then you guys have heard the word T cells, and the cytotoxic T cells, the natural killer cells, the different immune system cells are going to come in after it's been targeted and destroy that virus or bacteria, that pathogen of whatever it is. So antibodies are going to be the things that are going to be tagging that pathogen for destruction, and then the T cells, the natural killer cells, they're going to come in and destroy whatever that is. So one, we've got to have this ability to tag it, and this is why with something like a COVID or a novel virus, it's going to take 1 to 2 weeks for the body to produce enough antibodies to really get that immune system going. So that's why it can take a week or so of somebody fighting stuff off, and why there was such a big problem at first for people when they would get that exposure, and why those first 5 to 7 days were so important in there. So 1 to 2 weeks to really get those antibodies going. But then the good news, there's two parts of antibodies. There's one that are going to be like a chicken pox. And chicken pox is going to be where we have lifelong antibodies, where we're going to have those antibodies in our system, and whether you get exposed to chicken pox this year, next year, 10 years, 40 years from now, your body is going to fight off that virus for the chicken pox. But there's things like the seasonal flu or cold, if that's viral, and those antibodies are going to fade away. All right, Shelley, there's a question. Will antibodies be able to handle lab-created viruses the same as natural occurring viruses? Great question. We don't know for sure. You know, again, I'm assuming you're talking about the messenger RNA and the spike protein that they're creating, where most other vaccines are going to be coming from an actual virus itself. This is man-made, created. This is the first time it's been used in humans on that messenger RNA level. So we really don't know. So that's my answer, and we'll know once this trial is done, you know, and another season goes by and what's actually going on there. So two types of antibodies to different viruses. One is going to be more of a seasonal, and this is going to have to be revved up every time. That's why you can get the flu every year. Hey Michelle, good to see you. And that's why some people get that flu vaccine every year. And then chickenpox ones, this is going to be a lifelong. And so, that's what they were hoping with COVID, but with other COVID infections, we know that it's not. So, it really wasn't that big of a surprise. The COVID-19 is going to turn into this seasonal flu. Basically, it'll just go into that list of other flus that we're going to have to deal with, and that's why they're talking about a booster every year, at least every year, if not 6 to 12 months. So it's because it's going to lose those antibodies, and it's a seasonal thing, and then so they're going to want to give boosters every 6 to 12 months for people, especially if their antibodies go down. The T cells, this is the exciting part for the immune system though too, is that the T cells are going to last even if the antibodies do fade away. And this is why some research shows 40 to 60% of the population won't get COVID, because they already have T cells to other COVID infections, other coronaviruses. And so when COVID-19 comes around, we've already been exposed to other coronaviruses, and we can jump in and destroy that COVID very quickly. And this is the great part about T cells, is there is a memory as well. It's not just that, you gotta wait for the antibodies to rev up and then the body creates some T cells, but there's a lot of people that already have immunity to COVID from other coronaviruses. Coronaviruses are found in the common cold, a lot of different things. So we have been exposed to a lot of different coronaviruses throughout thousands and thousands of years. And so yes, this is a novel coronavirus, COVID-19, and yet it's going to be one that is able to be dealt with, and we're going to be able to fight that off for a lot of people. And even next time around, even as those antibodies fade, you're going to still have T cells ready to get revved up and do what it needs to do. So next time around, there's going to be way less people that are having serious issues with COVID-19, and regardless of how rampant it gets next year or whatever, there's going to be a lot less death, a lot less problems, because people are already going to have T cells from this past, 14 months or whatever it is. Hey, Patricia, good to see you up there in Montana. So that's the antibody. So regardless of whether it's a virus, bacteria, whatever it is, we need to be able to rev our antibodies up at the right time, and it's almost like a teeter-totter. So you want to rev those antibodies up and T cells up at the right time, but then you also, we have suppressor cells in the immune system to turn it down at the right time as well. And this is a major problem for a lot of people that have autoimmune conditions, is they get over here in this revved up state over and over and over, and they eventually start attacking their own tissue. So my mom that had MS, my wife that had thrombocytopenia, and they took out her spleen, somebody that has rheumatoid arthritis on their joint, and that immune system is attacking the joint. So those antibodies, that's a horrible one, sorry about that. So we'll go here. So those antibodies are going to tag the end of the joint, and those immune system cells are going to start destroying that joint. And so if we're in this constant revved up state with that immune system, then we're going to have problems there. Gigi having some hard time with the clear audio. Sorry about that. We're having a bunch of clouds that may be part of that. Hello there from Florida. Let me know if anybody else is having a hard time hearing on these as well. So with autoimmune, it's basically that immune system gets revved up, and various things can cause this exaggerated response of that immune inflammatory cascade. Hey Lori, how did you diagnose your wife? So she had ITP, her platelets were down to like 7,000, she was bruising all over. It was after having the MMR vaccine, 2 weeks after that going into college, and she was collapsing, bruising really, really bad. And what happened was that they put her on prednisone, she gained weight, started breaking out, a lot of issues there, and ultimately they said you can be on prednisone the rest of your life, or you can take out your spleen. And guess what? As every good freshman that's breaking out and gaining weight thinks is, screw it, just take the spleen out and I just want to be done. That's what she did, but we still had to go back and solve the puzzle of what was going on in her body. But good thing I've got another patient we just found last week that they wanted to take her spleen out, same thing, thrombocytopenia, and she was been able to reverse her diabetes. Her platelet count is up to 121,000, highest it's been in like 5 years, and her autoimmune is actually calming down, getting into that good range. So there's a lot of different things that we can do to balance out this immune response. So we've got to be able to rev it up at the right time and lower it down. And that's one of the things that vitamin D does. Vitamin D modulates that immune response, which is a huge part of helping to restore that immune system to the proper balance, get that autoimmunity calmed down, but then also rev up as well. And looking at those two differences of the, you start getting run down and start getting a cold or whatever it is, you've got to be able to rev that immune system up as well. And vitamin D is crucial at that. You want to be between 60 and 80 with your vitamin D. If you have autoimmune, you want to be upwards of 80 with that as well. So make sure you've got your vitamin D tested. You want to get that checked at least every 3 to 6 months. Make sure that you're in the good range there. So immune system, crucial for so many different things in our lives. We've got antibodies, we've got T cells, we've got pathogens, and if we have autoimmune, if it's going up too much, we'll be attacking our own tissue. Check out our other videos on autoimmune. We've got many videos, hour-long presentations, lots of different information. You can educate yourself. If you're dealing with autoimmune, it can get better. You can reverse autoimmune. The body is amazing at healing those things. If you're having immune issues and not able to fight things off, you can get that built back up as well. So is vitamin D olive oil? There's not enough vitamin D in olive oil to make a difference in your levels. So Paula, my autoimmune is flaring up at this time. I take prescription vitamin D. Paula, double check your levels. It may not be enough. It may not be absorbing the right way. So hope you guys are doing great. Pop any other questions down below. We'll be watching these and answering questions the whole time. Make it a great day. Stay strong. Keep that immune system cranking, guys. Take care.